With you, everyone. Welcome back. So I went out and I found this dry vac. It's missing a cord, so I've got in here. I've got some cords here. I believe this is a 3-prong cord here. Um, it might not be three. Um, so I'm looking for. I'm going to go through. I keep lots of cords. Um, just for this type of thing. Here's this is a 3-pronger here. Does it have a end? Yeah, it has an end. Okay. Let's see. Also got some other ones in here. Any? This is okay. This is two. I want to keep a. I want to do 3-prong, just because. And since I'm not using this light switch here, oh wait a minute. Here's a 3-prong cord, small version. Small version. There's 3-prong. Maybe I'll use this one instead, because I can always attach it, to inside rather than a super long one. Because this one is a light. I've been working on this. This is an actual light switch, and I can put a switch, and it's got a plug on there. So I think I want to keep this attached together. I don't want to mess with that one too much. But I can pull with this other 3-prong cord. Usually when I go out, I find different wires or cords if I see them out. And I grab them up. If they could be fixed, I fix them. Even when I find things like this out and about, I usually take these apart and see why. And so most of the time they're not broke, or maybe one of the copper pieces is not connected. So I just kind of repair that, put it back together, and then it works. But we're going to use this one instead of this long cord here, because this long cord here is not a 3-prong. It's a 1 or a 2-prong. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one back up. We'll use that for another rainy day of a project that might need a cord or something. We're going to go out here. I'm going to show you my dry vac that I found. I've got it taken apart. I just want to test to see if it works, right? That's mainly all I'm doing is trying to get it to work. If the power comes on it, then I know that it works. So here it is. So we've got this big dry vac right here. Here's the big bucket for it. Had a hose already attached, big long hose. I've taken all the screws out right here. All the screws out of it. So I wanted to get into the motor right down here. And here is the old cord. It looked like somebody had cut this cord here, because it was in the garbage, and a lot of people around here go and they remove cords to take them into scrap yards. Me, if it's got a cord attached to it and a motor, why not take the motor too? There's more copper in the whole motor mechanism and the motor itself than just the cord. But people do weird things. This is keep this up here. Let's set this up right here. Off the ground. negative. Proper. That's also open up this one. Splice these together, and then I just want to turn it on. See if we have power to it. We have white, black, green as well. Just match these up, same color. The green. This was our power buttons right here and right down here. So you push this side red, this side green, power on, power on. That mechanism is switches here. Power on, power on, power on, power on. So I want to line that. I want to make sure I know exactly. So if this goes back on like this, that's red is on, green is on. So I want it off right now. Now I'm going to go in here, grab some cord, and we'll plug this in. We'll tap this and see if we get moving. But then let's hit the switch. Got motor. Okay, so this thing may work. So what we have to do now is we have to tape all this up, the wire. They go like this on its mechanism. So we don't have any electricity machines. You don't want to get electrocuted, but don't you worry. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. axes. Back together here. So, that way, once I know the handles are all burned out, then I'll shoot. Let's do the deep in here. Next is the here. Let's do the power out. The outer edge. Is hold the place the motor of the suction, make it visible place. Yeah. Here's our wire. So we have ourselves a shop vac, 16 gallon, 60.5 liter, 5.7 horsepower, 5.7 horsepower peak performance. Good suction on my face. Has a good blowout. So we've just fixed something that was thrown in the garbage. All right. That'll come in handy. A shop vac for big spills, wet, dry spills, for big ones. All right, let's see. Any comments? A summation of my holy book can be found in the document Liber Oz. Please read it out when you go inside. All right. What do you mean? Okay, found in the document. Let my eyesight get back. It's pretty sunny out there. We'll check out your document. Or your summary. Is that all caps business? That's the book of Aleister Crowley, by the way. So it's not by you. Liber Oz is there is no God but man. Man has the right to live by his own law, to live in the way that he wills to. That's false. Because if you try to live in your own way that obscures another man's way, then you and your law of whatever it is in violation of someone else's law. Therefore, there cannot be an empirical law of judgment that supersedes individuality. So there's something that must be greater than the individual. So this is Aleister Crowley's problem. See, that's the problem. You understand what I'm telling you? So here is what he was telling us, which I'm well aware of Aleister Crowley, everyone. I'm well aware of him and Madame Blavatsky. So here's Aleister Crowley's book. And you'll see a lot of movie stars. A lot of movie stars and actors will also believe, do your own thing. Be what you want to be. Instead of walking forward, walk backwards. I'm well aware of all new age, old age, any age methods. I'm well aware of them, and I've explored all of these things, business. The problem with this book, again, is when your liberty, your freedom of your law infringes upon another's freedom of their law, then what happens? War? War? No love? Just war. You see? So there must be something beyond. There must be something greater that supersedes individual. That's why there's God. That's why there's truth. Truth supersedes everything of your imagination. You can be any kind of man you want to be. No one says you can't. However, if you violate law and order of God in his creation, you take the risk of giving over your life. Your life ceases. So you're not the creator of the very life that you claim that you can do and be whatever you want to do and be. You don't own that life. That's the problem with Aleister Crowley. People believe that they own their own life. You don't own life. Life is a gift that's given. Given from whom? By whom? Right? That's what we want to find. The search to find who gave us this life. And in the essence of this life, does the one that gave it to us have law and order of righteousness, holiness, that would keep you alive? That's the ultimate goal, is to have self-sustainability, to sustain one's life. But we know that we can't even make a single hair on your head grow. So you may have control over action in your life, but life itself does not belong to you. That's the problem with atheists. That's the problem with Satanists, Aleister Crowley, and all of them. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Yes, but the meaning of life is will versus will, the strongest surviving. That's the world. But that's not true. Right? Because love is greater. So let's say I come to a stop sign with another life. We end up at the stop sign at the exact same time. By law, who gets to go? Because even according to the law, we both arrive at the stop sign at the same time. Usually it's the one, since you drive on the left-hand side, in England, I believe it would go to the one that's on the left-hand side. In America, the right-hand side. But all without that, without law, let's say there is no law like that of proper etiquette of driving, right? Now oneself is upon compassion, mercy, and love. So if I come to the stop sign, same time someone else comes to the stop sign, I say, sir, go ahead. That's the strongest, even of the, let's say a person with ego, I'm going, fuck you, and that's a bullying bullying, right? Or ego in a mind frame, not carry. I got a better car than you. I get to go first. Age before beauty, right? And all these different things. But the truth of the matter is mostly, and that's why we have etiquette. That's why we call gentlemen. What is a gentleman, right? In the essence of that. What is chivalry in the essence of that? So arriving at the same time, because of my self in longing for betterment of God and longing to have that sustainability in life, rather than argue with a gentleman or anything else, go, you can go ahead. I'll be right behind you. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. No problem. No problem. Please, please, go. I'll open the door for you as well. Go. I open the door. You see what I'm saying? So ultimately, love and mercy and compassion are way better than aggression and ego and super ego, any of that stuff, right? Ultimately, because sustainability is still there. Me letting you go first fulfills your wish or your desire, even if you wanted to be ego, you get your desire filled. I'm still making my destination. I'm still going to go anyway, even after you've gone. So I have, in the sense, saved both our lives. Both lives, in the essence, are sustained. Are you following me? Yes, the strongest surviving in hierarchy, and God is the hierarchy. Correct. Yes. Oh my God, no, I'm not going to critique line for you. If you want to do that, then you have to go to Facebook Messenger and call me one on one as a friend, or as, like, when you call your friend on the phone, you hang on the phone for hours. Here, I don't, uh, I've read the book, I've seen the book. Um, Many movie stars and actors follow this pathway. Do as thy wilt is their slogan, right? That's the slogan. Hollywood does it. They even write it on T-shirts, and they have Baphomet, different things that they do. They have their little eye and all their other crazy nonsense that falls into place with it all. It's all selfishness, to be honest. It's selfishness. But then again, that's Satan. That's what Satan is. Satan is selfishness. So to sum up the whole book is just don't be selfish. Be loving, be compassionate, be kind. No need to be selfish. And that sums up his book. His book is about being selfish. It's always the I. I'll do what I want to do. I'll say what I want to say. I'll be how I want to be, and all these things. But that's not what the Son of Man taught us. The Son of Man said, he who wishes to be great in heaven will become a servant to all. He who serves all. You see what I'm saying? He who serves all. But I can go over. I don't think you can pull up this book though, because people want to make money. So I think you'd have to buy the book. I don't think it's online. Well, there is. We have a little bit of copyright 020. So I don't think we can show this. Um, I believe I can show ITA flash drive 9, world's wisdom in the palm of your hand. I believe I could probably show a little bit like this, which is the main summary. The what is it? The glossary page. Is that what? No, the glossary is at the end. No index. What is that opening? in a book, what do you call it? The law of the strong, this is our law and the joy of the world. Do without wilt shall be the whole of the law. Selfishness, basically, shall be the whole of the law. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Do that, and no other shall say nay. But of course, that's absolute insanity, because if you try to say, oh, I want to go and kiss that woman on the mouth, then you get slapped the shit fuck right out of you. You understand? Um, and this is part of the, as well as the mind frame, when Donald Trump was saying things like, because ultimately, if you read the next verse, it says, every man and every woman is a star, superstar. It's all about you, your beauty, your acting. Oh, everything is about you, you, you. But the greatest of actors, even Charlie Chaplin, all of them, it's not even about them. It's about captivating the audience. It's the audience. It's about the audience. Without the audience, what are we? You could not be a star if the audience doesn't watch you, if the audience doesn't accept you. You're nothing. Nothing. You're a dime a dozen, basically, because that's what acting and everything else is. Music, all of that shit is a dime a dozen, man. Anybody and everybody can be like that if you put your mind to it. But so his first or his third ALI 42 through 43, and no other shall say nay. That's wrong. And then when Donald Trump was saying that, oh, you can grab them in the private, they don't care, you could do what you want. That's the mind frame of an ego, a man who thinks he's rich. I have money, so I can do what I want. I have fame and fortune, I can do what I want. So they think the law doesn't abide to them. And that's where justice comes in, right? Justice for those who have infringed their way, their law upon someone else unjustly. In due time, the ultimate hierarchy will judge you. Does that make sense? It's very simple. I mean, whoever follows this is cynical, senile, if they think that any of this has to do with righteousness whatsoever. Even when in the first line, there is no God but man, the first line, man has the right to live by his own law, to live in the way that he wills to do, to work as he will, to play as he will, to rest as he will, and die when and how he will. Ultimately, that is so fucking bogus, because even the very clothes that these people wear are styled by another. Fashion, it's not yours. Fashion is what someone has created. People in a corporation have sewn together. You go to the store to buy, and you think that you have your will, in the sense. Now, if you can have a will, go make your own clothes, grow your own cotton, spin your own cotton, dye your own cotton, all of that stuff you can do as a free will. But if you're making a claim that you are not partaking in what is already in the world, and then you're assuming that, oh, look, I am free to do what I want to do. I'll drink this kind of wine over that kind of wine, but you're not the one who made the wine. Ultimately, you can't say that you are doing what you want. Well, you can, but you understand what I'm saying. You get my point, right? There's a point here. Ultimately, you can make your own wine, make your own food, hunt your own food, grow your own food. Yes, all of those things are very real as the freedom of man given by God to begin with. But most of these people that are following Aleister Crowley style book or any of this other stuff fail to see that main concern when you're dressing in the clothes of another, or buying food that another has grown, packaged for you, and you chose, well, yeah, you chose what store you're going to, but you bought the food that you did not grow. So you are not a man that claims free in the sense. You are free. Yes, we have free will, we have free choice. Um, but the majority of people don't make their own clothes or grow their own food or any of that stuff because we have um, agreed to work together. These people are taking part in what another group agreed to do together, acting as if they are greater than the very people who agreed to do it. And they're not. They can't be. And purple blue peace. So there's that, you know. That's why I make my own music. I've listened to other people. I like other people's songs. But all in all, I do make my own music. I write my own lyrics, which clearly is understandable, and clearly you can understand it because I talk about the same shit that I present on my own YouTube. No one else does this, so you should ultimately know that these are my own lyrics. I am the author, the writer, the copywriter in that manner. So you can do that. Um, but even ultimately, even within myself, I am not going to claim as if I created the instrument. I never invented the guitar. I didn't invent that. I'm using someone else's invention to create for my own self. See what I mean? Could I, like, take a pop can, um, do some resonance to it, maybe put a string on it, or you know uh, a copper wire, run through it, tighten it up on one end, strum it, that would make the can vibrate, that would produce its own kind of sound, and then create some kind of music with it. Yes. Then I am the inventor of the can harp, or whatever you want to call it. The sound would protrude out of the can. Maybe I cut the top of this out, string in a wire really tight through here, pluck it, and the sound resonates, and it gives a complete different kind of sound that no one has ever heard of or any of that. You can do that, yes. All of those things are available. But ultimately, even within that, I did not make the can, I did not make the string. And even into that, Coca-Cola or Mountain Dew, Pepsi, didn't even create aluminum. Aluminum was already here. We found to melt down to create. Somebody else put it here. It ultimately goes back to God. All things belong to God. It ultimately goes back to Him. That's why anything outside of God, within super ego or ego, um, manifests itself as foolishness and an unwise person who doesn't give glory to God. They give glory to self. And that's the way the world is today. The world's full of that in reality. That's why even the wisdom that I have, I will always tell you it's not mine. I am like anyone else. Anything that I've got that seems fresh and new, that no one else has ever spoken of, um, it's not mine. I got it from God. That's my own reasoning. I can't say it's mine in that sense. Um, Dr. Blitz is an annoying individual. He's a left brain lopsided. Well, you have to understand people. Remember, I told you this. When you go to a school, and here in America, there's thousands upon thousands of different ways to get educated by schools because there's so many different schools within each district, and there's so many different teachers, and these teachers have their own way of teaching someone, right? Ultimately, they have to stay in the guidelines of the educational system. What do you call that? The teachers. What is it? The teachers have have a master over them in a sense. I forget. It's not the principal, vice principal, but the vice principal has someone over them, and it's a collective that's over them that tells them this is what needs to be done. This, and it all goes up to a higher. Everybody is branched out like a tree in that manner. But even within the teaching, you have to understand that if Dr. Blitz goes to a certain college, the college ultimately has their what do you call it? Structure of their educational system of, damn it, what is that word? It's on the tip of my tongue. Um, that is binding law for the school in that manner, and you're not allowed to go out it. I mean, it's like a seminary within priesthood. Seminary schools are different. There's many different ones, and there's the way that they get educated and the way that they're supposed to teach something, the philosophy of something or the theology of something. They all have their own thing. So it depends on what school you go to. So obviously, if you get a lot of Blitz characters that have graduated within the same year, and they all had the same teacher, of course, they're all going to have the same mind frame. They're all going to have the same cadence to them as well. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can tell, like, a very intellectual person who's studied that stuff could tell you exactly by the way someone speaks about something or teaches about something, could even very well tell you who their teacher was. You know what I'm saying? So you have this way about you. You think in this manner, these type of thoughts. You teach it in that way. Your teacher was so and so because that's how they are. Like Socrates, Plato. They all, you know, had their way, and they had their students, and their students became as their teacher was in that essence. I don't cling to none of that. I just seek truth, and then I speak it in my own words, the best of my ability. And sometimes, because I'm a ignorant hillbilly man, I can't really, you know, I know it's right in my mind, but I can't say it in the eloquence of language. That part's difficult for me. So I cuss, right? I cuss, or I do something else, but it doesn't take away from the truth of what I'm saying. Wisdom justifies her children. Wisdom justifies her children. So I'm a child of crazy, wild, flamboyant, charismatic, whatever you want to call me. Sometimes they call me a nut job, whatever. I don't care. But wisdom justifies me because of the truths that I speak. They're just looking at the cover of the book rather than what does the book say? What is the book teaching? What is the truth that this guy is trying to get across to the world? And I look at that thing. That's what I actually look at. Big nose. And of course, somebody is going to be crazy. Like, business and big nose, you're all the same people. I don't understand, like, why somebody has multiple personality disorder in the comment section. You understand? I mean, I'm not a fool. I hope you realize that. It's very easy to make determinations of who's watching me, who's listening, who's commented before. how do they comment, looking at the comments. I'm well aware of all that. And to be a multiple personality disorder in the comments section of being the same person with different accounts in a manner, to me is it's it's entertaining, but it's at the same time it's like, why do you do that? Just be your fucking self, man. You'll get you'll be accepted. Kane, if you do well, you'll be accepted. You'll be accepted. Don't matter what you look like, who you are. If you do well, you'll be accepted. I don't know why people don't get that through their minds. But yeah, everyone plays these games, so there you have that. Guzzy is from Virginia. Yes, I know where D's already talked to me a long time ago. Remember 2 years ago, um, D and I shared information and emails and stuff like that. We did. I don't reveal, my own self because I don't really come to talk to about myself, in that manner. But I've been all around in the United States. I've lived in different states of the United States. Um, I don't cling to one place. I was raised for 16 years in a certain place. Um, Prior to that, I can't say. My first 3 years, I was raised in a complete different state. And then after the age of 3 to 16, so that'd be another 13 years, I was raised in another state. And then I moved and kind of raised myself for a short period of time in another state. And then I moved back to the state of 13 years. And then from there, I moved from that place to the state I'm in now. So, um, Afghans, well, I wouldn't just say Afghans, poor people. Poor people are more spiritual than material. What, right? Like, if you don't got nothing, you can't be material about it. And then again, that's a state of reference because people could look at me, Afghans, which they do. They look at all my things on my walls, all that, and they're like, "Oh, you're rich. Look at all the things you got." And I'm thinking, no, it all came out of the garbage. So everyone's perception is a little different. But when you get down to the nitty gritty, poor people are way more spiritual, majority of the time, than people that have goods. And that's why Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter heaven. So I say third world country people, and I can say it for fact. A third world country person, if you were to go visit them and their house, at their house, or even in their tent, because they don't really have a house because it was taken from them by all the other rich. So they live in, slums of tents and where they got to go walk mile to get their water to bring back to their tent to their family. They are very nice individual people, very nice people. And at the same time, because they are only human beings, and you have a lot of stuff or something, not all, but some will expect you to share. Um, Otherwise, they are sharing with all they have, the only thing they have. Remember what he said to that woman? Jesus said, "Look at that woman that she gave only a penny." I tell you the truth, that woman gave more than anyone else. Other people were dropping gold, gold, gold. She dropped in her a copper. And he says that woman gave more than all the rest because that's all she had. get what I'm saying? You see? So perception is key into actually dealing with that. Oh, peace be with you. Hello, Al Pacino. So it depends, right? And again, not all poor people are spiritual. There's some poor people in the world that are just assholes, but you'll find that, and there's also rich people that are very good people and nice people. It's your perception, but in a majority, if you were to lump them in some kind of statistically, poor people would be more spiritual than rich people, because rich people have a lot of worry. They got to worry about their goods. They don't want them stolen. They got to lock it all up. You know what I'm saying? Poor people, they don't have nothing. They're just like, we don't have to do nothing. Look at it. He's locking up his everything he has. Look at 5,000 locks on his door. I don't have to lock. I live in a tent. My tent has no lock. Someone just walk in and walk out. Or I have to bag it up and put it around my back and leave. So again, that's all about your perception. But in the world that we live today, where it's taught to people that, uh, which is the old Roman way, which goes with status, is the more things you have, the richer you are, then you're a better person. They would assume, in that manner, and that's not true. There's many aspects to it to look at. You don't want to just look at it through a cloudy lens. You want to look at it in a clear eye. That's why getting to know people is a key thing as well, because you can kind of you start to understand different things about them or why they are in a way. Why the guy, when you sit down, you ever done this? Like there's a table, people eating at a table, and you go and you sit down at a table, right? You put your plate there, you put your cup down, put your silverware down, and then the guy next to you, he starts to squeeze his stuff in closer to himself. Like why his cup slides in closer to him, like his space. And then you can analyze these things, which I have. It's just who I am. I don't try. I don't mean to. I have these are observations because I'm fucked up. Um, but I observe these things, and you get to know somebody. Like you sit there, talk to him, and then you get to know his life, and then you realize, oh, okay, he was brought up in a certain way, or whatever, and then you take notice why he closed himself off, or maybe he had a fear that I was going to steal his stuff or take his stuff or anything, all sorts of kinds of things that go with it. Once you get to know the person, then you can analyze, that's why he's doing that. I see. But you can only make assumptions if you don't get to know the person. You can assume different things, but not all your assumptions could be correct. But once you get to know them, then you'll know right away which assumptions you had are correct. Um, what is the religious belief of your Native American tribes? Um, and what manner? I don't follow Native American beliefs, right? I've looked at them all. You got the turtle, the egg, all life coming out of the egg, hatched out of an egg and stuff like that. I mean, but there's more to the stories than just the stupid story of it, of people coming out of an egg, hatching from an egg that was brought over by the great turtle. Different things. All these things have meaning. And if you don't know the meaning, then yeah, when you look at the story, you think, God, these people are crazy. They think that a turtle come over, laid an egg, and the humans crawled out of it. What? No, there's meaning to things. Um, in that manner. The turtle representing land mass, just different things. But I don't follow that. I follow now seven spirits, They supersede all that fairy tale stuff, and majority of the fairy tales were all created to begin with by the seven spirits, trying to have a knowledge or an understanding of to explain something to someone. Peace be with you, RT. How are you doing? Renee Clanahay. Well, ultimately, all the native great spirits is in that manner. Even that's a great spirit. The white buffalo. There's the great spirit right there. And the reason it is used in that manner because to those people, the buffalo itself that's how they sustain their life. They used every bit of the animal, the bone for tools, the flesh for food, the skin for their homes and their clothes. So in a manner, they envision the great spirit being within the buffalo. Being the buffalo gave them all their sustainability, so they gave thanks to the great spirit, and then they, you know, put the great spirit in the buffalo. See, which is kind of the same understanding when Jesus says that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, in that sense. And then we have our seven spirits now where these are in you. Um, so we now know that even within the Yahweh of all creation, the Yahweh, that the thing that is what it is, everything has a purpose or a meaning to it. And everything is for the benefit of God's creation. Even the spider does what the spider does. The ant does what it does. Everything has a purpose. Most people overlook it or don't study these things, but all of it has something to do with something for the ecosystem or any of that stuff. So you just got to kind of look at it like that. In let's see, in Iran, our ingenious beliefs are Baal, and here's in Britain, the Celtic religion is indigenous. Yes, it has no form. Yes, you're right. It has no form, but they give form to it. The great eagle. The eagle is a representation in that manner. Um, just different things. You just have to try to understand what these people are trying to get off. My family trained donkeys and met many people throughout Iran and Dagestan, then followed the old ways. Rupert, I'm also working on your song. I actually have your song done, to be honest. I have the song done. You wanted me to do a song that was like Country Roads. I actually have that done. I haven't uploaded it yet. I didn't know if I was going to create a video for it or what. No, I don't really care for those. Rupert, you have to understand something about me. When I tell you a story that the Nakash were eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they corrupted the Adamah. Cain married into that family. Nam was part of that family. God commanded Joshua to wipe these group from the earth. He disobeyed God. I don't care. And I'm not trying to be rude about it in a manner. I don't care about these people. Because ultimately, they are from the original people who fell to begin with. So they teach all sorts of kinds of falling away from the one true God. So I don't care about these people. They're dirty, perverted individuals, and their culture itself reflects that. And even the ways of what they do in America reflects that. So I don't care for them. I mean, it sounds harsh, right? People would say, think it's harsh or think it's in a manner, the R word or something, but I don't care what they say either. As for me and my household, I will serve the Lord. You understand? These people are a bunch of pothead smoking motherfuckers that go around abusing one another, even within their own lands. So why would I give a rat's ass about this culture of people and whom God a long time ago was wanting us to wipe out, lest they cause you to fall away from him? That's why he told Joshua to do what he didn't end up doing. And then later on he says, because you didn't do it, these people will be spread around the whole world, corrupting everyone. And that's what happened. Are there good-minded people a part of these groups? Yes. But you find it in everyone. There's good and bad in every fucking thing. Get what I'm saying? Good and bad in every fucking thing. I'm not going to, try to seek out the good in a group because somebody is infatuated with flesh or something. I don't give a shit about it. I really don't. And people can call me all the things that they want. You know what I mean about it? They can call me the R word all they want. I don't care. God did not care. These are all lies. Even the baptism, when it talks about, there was a chariot coming from there, and there's a guy inside reading Isaiah, and he wanted to get baptized. Where the fuck that's bullshit. It's a bullshit story from Paul, because it clearly is telling you of Roman citizenship, Romanized bullshit. You know what I mean? Like where you got another guy, and then this guy's reading a book that wouldn't even be a part of his culture. You understand? I hope people understand that. The book of Isaiah is not being read in fucking the Sahara Desert. It's not. Yet they grabbed it and made it as if it was, so that way they could fuck your minds up. It's the same thing like things that are in China, for instance, big hits in China that's common within Chinese people. It's not fathomable to you in England. You're not doing it in England. You're not reading the books that they're reading. Get what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, here comes Paul with this fantasy tale, because remember what Rome was? Rome was very diverse. It was full of aristocrats of major different race and cultures at the time. But to go and write in a book to say, oh, here's a guy in his chariot, he's reading the book of Isaiah. No, the fuck he's not. It's a made up lie. Who do you think he's talking about? I don't know who he's talking about, sir. I don't know. He talking about Jesus. Oh, well, let me be baptized too. When there's no such thing as the baptism. That's bullshit. John did away with that and said he's going to baptize you in spirit. Here you got a story where some guy's stopping at a river to go get dunked in the fucking water. Right away, when I read things like this, right away, because of the way my mind works, boom, that's a fucking fantasy land. That shit never happened. Because that's not following what was taught by the Christ. The Christ did not teach that. Rome taught that. Because Rome at the time was also wanting to conquer the minds and masses of people, which they did. That's how they created Roman Christianity. Later on, people started to disagree with it. So there's the Great Schism. And then eventually, even within the Church of England itself, another schism. Because Satan is a liar from the get-go. So, of course, when people figure out the lie, then they're going to go away from it, but then they're going to create another lie to cover that lie. So it's just a trickle-down effect type thing, which none of it holds water in the truth. None of it. None of it. So that's why, Rupert, I just don't really care much for him. And I'm sorry, if it's bothersome for you. But yes, it's going to be very hot. It's going to get hotter too. The whole fucking European nation. It's going to get hotter and hotter. You'll have some rain come. Try to help cool you down. All right. But Rupert, at least Rupert doesn't live in France. Now you know what it's like. Remember all those people, Rupert, that used to make fun of me when I had my shirt off and I was on live teaching the word of God, and they all would say foul things about me. And I'd say, my God, it's very hot. It's 100 something fucking degrees, man. And you're mad at me because I'm teaching about God with no shirt? Get serious. So fuck them. Let them all burn. Let them all burn. See what it's like. Then let them go live, and see how they're going to dress. See if they won't end up dressing like me. And then I'll go over there and say, put your clothes on. Put your clothes on. Yes, that's all. Just stay hydrated. Just stay hydrated. It's all I can tell people. Hydration is very important, especially for you people who have never experienced it. You're going to have to be like the military. You carry your canteen of water. Don't guzzle it. Don't guzzle it all the time. Just sip it. Wash it like mouthwash in your mouth. Sip it all day throughout the day. That's the important thing. Don't drink and drink and drink like you're drinking like a camel. Just sip a little bit every once in a while. Keep yourself hydrated. If you take a walk, anytime you sweat, when you notice you're sweating, take a sip. Keep yourself hydrated. Because every time you sweat, you lose your water in your body. But I've always grown in the heat. I love the heat. I was always out in the sun, just half naked, laying in the sun. I loved it. I loved it. I covered myself with butter and oil, just all laying in the sun. It was wonderful. Wish I could do it now. If there was a public swimming pool around here, I'd probably be there. But we don't got none. They shut all of ours down because of the people you wanted me to discuss, Rupert. Because of the crazy people that like to cause trouble at the fucking swimming pool. Here in my community, we shut all the pools down because of the hoodlums. Ain't that a son of a bitch? These people don't know how to behave. Then they've influenced other people to act like this. And now these people don't know how to fucking behave. Bunch of fucking ignorance. I eat fish, but I'm not a big fish eater. Um, but I do have fish in my house. Actually, right now I even have fish in my house. You don't believe me? I'll show you. I got the best. The best. And I got the crispy battered fish fillets. This, which I'm actually getting hungry. I had spaghetti earlier. I made a whole bunch of. Oh, there we go. I think I'm gonna do something easy. I got my fried chicken. Fried chicken. I think I'll do something easy, fast. Put this in the microwave since it's already cooked up. You see, it's already battered and cooked. It's just frozen. I'll pop this sucker in the microwave. Hungry, hungry. I did all that work. I did a lot of work today. I'm glad I got that vacuum uh, fixed. Working. That's a good positive thing for me. I think I'll make some chips, some chicken and chips instead of fish and chips. I'll make some chicken chips. And then there you have that one guy too. Bus to the lake. Train bus to the lake. Yes. Yeah, the Great Lakes are right by me. Yes. But I got a river right here. I got a river right by my house. You know what I mean? But I want a pool. Chlorine. Clean. I'm not a dirty man. Swimming the dirt. Now, I used to swim in the dirty lake all the time, but, you know, when you have become, eloquent, we have lots of things. I mean, I've got we got water parks, big water parks with roller coaster rides and games and all sorts of kinds of stuff I could go to, but I don't have nobody to go to with. And I don't like just wanting to go by myself. You know, I ain't got no friends. I ain't got nobody to call up to say, hey, I used to. But as I get older, most of my friends are now married, have their own children, So it's what they do, you know. They go, and they're not going to call me up as a third wheel. You want to come with our family to the water park, Chris? I feel like a damn fool. I have an Illuminati symbol on my fridge. Yes, I do, but it's not what you think. I drew it. I drew it right there. You talk about this thing, the big eye. I drew that a long time ago. That's why I still got it. I drew this, um, and I put it in this plastic bag here. It's in a plastic bag because I drew that. Had it been almost 20 something years ago. It's just something I keep, not something I believe in. I keep lots of stuff. I got this nice little painting. What about this? You know, got this nice little painting here. This is famous artwork. The name down here, right here. Uh, I got this nice little painting right here. Little chair, flower, nice little lamp. Got this little painting here. It's good cooking, good friends, good food, good life. You know, my favorite one that's really old though is this one in here. It says way up here. My favorite one. That's right. That's right. You see it. You see it. That's right. So what if it's original? What if it's the original, huh? You don't know. That's right. Got it. It's worth millions. It's worth millions. Shouldn't even be showing you. Shouldn't be showing you. I got this. This is an old one. This is all New York. This is New York City. New York City. Brendan. That's a screen print. I got some of these. This is like a weird one right up here. It's the beach. It's the beach with some sand. I got this. A native. I got something that's old. You want to see something old? I got turn this down. I don't want that to get too hot. I'll come out here. I'll show you from Croatia, the Croatia period. Let's take a look at this. You know what fossils are, Big Nose? You know what fossils are? Check out these fossils. Tell me what these fossils are, Big Nose of London. You too, Business Australia. Fossils here. These fossils captivated inside here, fossilized forever into this stone. Our garden's coming up. Look at the garden coming up. Look at these tomatoes. Look at the big lush tomatoes. Garden. Look at that. Corn's coming up. Remember the corn used to be little. Grass is still green. These sides are coming up. These ones are coming up. Yeah, you've seen them all. You've seen all of it before. I better bring my tools inside, though. Bring my tool inside. I don't want to this to get dirty. Have somebody stealing. You don't have to deal with. I live in America. America. All these damn thieves here in America. Disrespectful Americans. You're an American yourself. Backtracking device. Backtracking. Middletown. No. Pacino. However, our vice president currently is from that town. What's his name? J.D. Vance. That's his name. J.D. Vance. He was a Middletown, Ohioan. I don't know why you backtrack. I don't know why you're trying to find me anyway. That's a little weird. If I tell you I don't want to be found, why are you trying to find me? So you cause trouble? Are you being a troublemaker now? Don't make me pull out my 6-shooters. I live in a town. I live in a town. Don't play games. Don't play games. Don't play with your life like that, man. Don't play with your life. Crazy man. Don't you understand? I'm a crazy man. Playing with your life. I've been to Middletown before. That's a shithole. Sorry to say to our vice president. Sorry, J.D. Vance. Vice President J.D. Vance. But your town was a shithole. We went to find you Saint Sellable Public Swim Pool. We went to find you. I can't even see that. My eyes are so fucked up. Let's see. Gotta get my big eye on this. Gotta get the big eye on this. The hell does this say? Oh, suitable. I don't drive anyway. What do you expect? Expect me to travel fucking 5 hours just to drive to Middletown on my scoot? My battery ran out by the time I wouldn't even get halfway there. My battery ran out on me. I'm fine. I'm fine. I got air conditioning unit. See? I got air conditioning unit. You like this? Look. Here's British. This British. He's even dressed like a little British man. Look, he's a little British nutcracker. This nice little queen presented outfit. He's like the Duke of York. And he got his crown. Look, he got crown on with jewels in it. Shine him up. It's all dirty, but he got rubies in there. Look at that ruby. Look at that rubies in there. Man. Cooking up my chicken. Got my chips in the grease. Is that what they call Rupert chips? Got my chips in the grease. Is that what you guys really say for real when you're at home? You say, baby, can you cook me up some chips? Cook me up some chips. Because these are chips. These are chips. See, these are chips. Cook us up some chips, baby. Feeling hungry. Got all sorts of kinds of stuff. You want to see me when I was a little kid? I'll show everybody what I looked like when I was a little kid. This is me as a little kid. Look at my ugly self. There I am. There's me. Oh, got to turn to there. Kind of turn away from the light. There we go. Well, light gets in it. Got to hold it like this. Or maybe I go like this. Turn it this way. There we go. There I am. Does it look like me still? I'm not aging. I'm not aging anymore, man. I can't figure it out. I don't know why. Somebody help me. Call the scientist. Find out why I'm not aging anymore. I should be old, old, old. Just not aging. Can anybody help me figure it out? That is going to be so weird if I, like, 15 years from now, all the people, let's say we all still on YouTube, and I know what Rupert looks like. I seen him. I seen Simon. Wouldn't that be so weird? I come back 15 years, I'm still like this, and then I look and you guys is much older and everything. I'll be like, what happened to you, Rupert? Simon, what's going on? Get this out of the microwave. Don't want to burn it too much. Get that chicken, fried chicken. That's some good stuff right there. Fried chicken. Now what we need with this fried chicken, you gotta have the best. Gotta have the best. Sweet baby Ray's. Sweet baby Ray's. The sauce is the boss. You understand? The sauce is the boss. I'll show you. I'll show you what I mean. The sauce is the boss. Pull out these French fries down here. Gotta get my ketchup. Put me a little ketchup. There we go. Ketchup. See if my fries are nice and golden brown. They're ready to come up out of there. Look at that. Oh, man. Look at them chips. Look at these chips. Nice golden chips. Look how golden they are. Golden. And I've been using that grease. That grease been in there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. That grease been like that. I ain't changed it out. Put me in a little bit of salt. Some salt on my chips. There we go. Voila. Chicken and chips. Ooh, that's hot. Hot. Burning my fingers. I can't even eat it yet. I gotta let it cool down. Ain't that something? It's all piping hot. But I can't even eat it. Look at how hot. Look at that. Piping hot. Tried it. I'll try to. I won't burn my mouth though. Woo. hot. What you can do is you can shred this chicken down, right? Shred that chicken, mix it up in that sauce, and you got yourself some nice barbecue. Make a barbecue sandwich out of it with some shred the chicken up. Chicken shredded with the sauce right here mixed in with it. Put it on some bread. That's good. What about you, Rupert? You gone to the swimming hole yet? We know it's getting hot in England too. How about we turn up the temperature 5 more degrees? You want a little bit? You want 5 more degrees? So they close down the workforce. Everybody go to the pool. It's too hot. It's too hot to work. You guys are all surrounded by water. Salt water, though, ain't it? Salt water. That's not good in the heat. But Al Pacino, I actually got a swimming pool. I got a blow up swimming pool. So if I want, I just air up my swimming pool and fill it up with water, and I'm good to go. But soon, once that tree's cut down, I'll be putting myself a pool back there anyway. I got it on my door the other day when I came home. On my front door, I had this sign somebody put, like when you're at a motel, they put do not disturb sign. They hung this sign up on my door, an invitation to go to somebody's church. They's inviting people to church. Now, I used to do that a long time ago. When I was a little kid, though, I basically lived in church. If anybody can understand, I lived in it. When I go to a Boy Scout meeting, I went to church. When my mom and them had choir, I went to church. When church was church, I had to go to church. I was a server, and we'd have like meetings or cookouts or things like that. I went to church. When I went to school, because I went to a private school, it was church. So I grew up in church and the building too. My whole life was around it. My teachers were nuns and priests. If only they could see me today. The nuns and the priests used to write on my report card, from kindergarten on up. They used to write on my report card, he talks too much. Talks in class too much. He bothers the other students, which was a lie. I never bothered the other students. They were all my friends. They're trying to give me a bad name. Bothers other students. My parents said, will you bother another student? I don't want to bother. What do you mean? These are my friends. I'm not bothering my friends. They're talking to me. I'm answering back. I don't think I ever got it. He was a pleasure to have in class. I was always hoping one day, I know some teacher's going to say it, and my parents will be proud of him. He was a delight and a pleasure to have in class. It never came. And sometimes I try so hard to have it say that. I even one time wrote it down myself. I wrote it down myself. You're grounded. What are you writing down in your report card? You're grounded. Go to your room. But mama, I was a pleasure in class. Go to your room. And you talk to God about what you've done. About what you've done. It's funny. If I wrote an autobiography, it would be a comedy. Even my sisters, I told stories about what they used to do. I told you this story before about my sisters wanting to watch TV on a school night. Get out of school, parents ain't home, they at work still. You guys, school, we're called latchkey kids. Sister got the key, so we got to wait for the big sister to come. She puts the key in the door, opens it up. Chris, go grab the TV, bring it into the living room for us. All right. I go get the TV, which was hidden in the garage. It was hidden in the garage. Grab the TV and carry it in there. They always watched what they wanted to watch. I always had to get the TV. I always having to watch Sally Jesse Raphael or Geraldo. What was that soap opera they watched all the time? There was a soap opera. Not General Hospital, but it's called something else. Not Bold and the Beautiful, not General Hospital, something else. But I watched it with them. And then when the car squealed up, you could hear the car pull up in the driveway. Hurry up, Chris. Hurry up, Chris. Grab the TV. I carry it back and put it back where it was. But one day, I got into it with one of my older sisters. I'm watching what I'm going to watch. I brought the TV in here. I'm watching today what I want to watch. You got to watch for the past 4 days what you wanted to watch. I'm watching what I'm watching. Oh, yeah? Yeah. She took her purse, swung a purse at me and hit me, and the strap broke off. And then she grabbed the wooden spoon and hit me over the head with the wooden spoon, the cooking spoon. And it broke. My mom got home, came in the door. My sister goes and tells her, Chris broke my purse. Can you believe it? And I got to whoop him. And I didn't even break her purse. But I never said nothing. Because I knew tomorrow I'm watching what I want to watch. Or I'm going to tell on you for lying. But we had lots of them days. I had lots of days of getting beat up by my sisters. Of course, they're bigger than me, older than me. Yeah. I used to get whooped by the girls. The girls would whoop, beat me up. And one day, in the second grade, I had enough. It was time I started exercising, lifting weights, getting big. But back then, I was lifting milk jugs full of water. Second grade. Tired of you hitting on me. I'm tired of you messing with me. I'm tired of being beat up by the girls. That was girls. I had 2 older brothers. Big, big brothers, too. When I say big, we're talking overgrown fucking beasts. Brown. But I always had to, when it was time to play football in the front yard or something, I had to play. Couldn't say no to them. They tell me to play. You're going to be this. You're going to run here. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. Okay, okay. And I got bruised and battered by them. Bruised and battered. But I loved it. Because then I'd get grit. We go play again. I'm gonna bruise and batter you. I'm gonna get you one day. I told my brother that too. I said, I'm still growing. And one day I'm gonna knock you the fuck out on the ground. And he laughed. I'm gonna make you cry. And I did. I started getting stronger and bigger than them. I wouldn't say bigger. I never got bigger than them. I'm only 6 foot. They 6'8", but stronger. Where I had them flinching. If I come at them, they would flinch. They were afraid. They knew I was stronger now. Stronger. I remember days they used to stick up for me too. I always wanted to play with the big boys. Played soccer one day with them. I was good. And the big kids didn't like that I was good. So they started taking advantage of me, pulling those yellow cards, trying to trick me. All sorts of kinds of stuff. My brother saw him doing that one day. And he had enough of them. So he threatened them. They kept doing it, that he was going to beat them up. I remember that day when my older brother finally, first time in his whole life, finally I had him standing up for me and told the big kids that he's going to beat them up if they keep pulling yellow cards and red cards out. Mm, I was a bone. I almost broke my tooth. I never backed down from nobody. I still don't back down from nobody. I think that's it. I'm going to pick this up. I don't want my cat getting it. Cats don't know how to leave the chicken bones alone. They come in, they smell it. They smell it, hunting it down. They're walking around trying to find it. Even if I throw it in the garbage, I can't even throw it in the garbage. If I throw it in the bag, they'll get up there, they'll scratch the bag open to where all the trash falls out of it, trying to get to the bones. But there's lots of things about me that you might think is a little bit off. But if you lived in America and you had to grow up in some manners that I grew up, hang around diversity and manners of public school and different things, and you'd understand why some things I just don't give a flying fuck about. But there we got that vacuum finally working. I'm glad about that. That'll be good for whenever I start cutting down the tree and stuff. I'll be able to get that sawdust up out of the way. Maybe I'll keep it, make some mulch, and throw some dye in it, dye it up, use it for a garden bed one day. I like to rent a chipper, one that really grinds up big pieces of wood. I could grind up all that wood out there and turn it into mulch. Put it all in a big bucket of dye, swirl it around to get it all dyed up, and let it dry out. I'll have a whole bunch of mulch to use for the summertime garden. Cheaper than buying the shit. And down here, them bags of mulch sometimes can reach up to $20 a bag. Surprised Rupert don't do that stuff. Give him a big wood chipper and chip up all that wood and bag it up, sell it on the weekend. Take it down to the weekend shop, stand outside, sell it on a street corner. You'd be surprised how many people would buy it. To make their flat gardens look good and stuff on the outside. Really good to use that oil in there. That dye keeps them bugs away. Bugs don't like it. I guess I better go out here. First, I gotta get rid of this chicken. Put this chicken stuff in the microwave real quick. Get it out of the way before I take it to the garbage outside. Need to get out there and bring my vacuum in. And I'll come in and have me a cupcake for a snack. This wire up. The other day, it's been quiet around the neighborhood. It's been pretty quiet for the past 4 or 5 days. And the reason why is because about 4 or 5 days ago, that neighbor, that loud, obnoxious neighbor, went to jail, got arrested. Cops got him. I got that on video too. I have to upload that video for you guys. The police went over there and arrested him finally. He was bullshitting. I guess there's an upstairs and a downstairs to their house. They got different people that live upstairs than downstairs, right? I guess he got into something with his neighbor and did something. Don't know what, but he must have done something that caused him to get arrested. The Cops threw him in the back of the jet. He's all cussing at the cops too. Crazy. That's stupid. He's yelling at the cops and stuff, trying to be the big man of the house over there. Cops got tired of him, put him in the cruiser. I'll show you guys that video. Got that video. I got on my bike. I took off on my bike so I could capture it all. Pretend like I was taking a bike ride. So now he's back. I guess he must be out because listen to how loud they got that music. I mean, my God. I mean, ain't you ever heard of headphones? He's over there beating on something now. He's over there beating on something. Metal hitting metal. It's insane. I think, I don't know, but I think sometimes I think maybe they got maybe some mental issues or something. They're not all there upstairs. I keep kind of talking. I don't want to get a copyright strike with music playing. You know, other people's music. Get that copyright on it. Doesn't affect my channel. I just don't like to have a copyright on it. Period. But at least we had a little bit of peace and quiet for about a week. It was good while it lasted. Good while it lasted. I guess that's what them people that do drugs do. They whine and cry in their sorrows. And play their music loud. It's like, my God, you know, you need to learn how to play something, and then go to we got amphitheater over here where if you want, they got concerts over there, and you can join up the concert. You could play your own music there. You know, and if you want to play loud, everybody listening. That's where they do it. It's down there over by the river. When you're living in the inner city like this, you gotta learn to respect. You got other neighbors, man. You got other neighbors. You can't just go cranking up your stereo full blast at 20 decibels so that you can hear it down the fucking block. Something not right upstairs with people. Generation they're breeding. It's just generation they're breeding, man. Who's the fault of it? We're gonna put in a big music system into our cars that way we can get that bass. And then when we drive down this road, we can't really understand nothing that's being said, but we got to boom, boom, and it can vibrate my car. And look, it's vibrating their car too. Everybody's car vibrating. Yoo-hoo! I mean, you know, in reality, I would think that should be really against the law. Because if you're shaking, vibrating somebody else's car, you know, I would think that that's almost like, you know, touching somebody or spitting on somebody. You can't do that. Like, but the mind frame of people, so fucking ignorant in America, so fucking ignorant. They think it's cool. They think it's cool, and then this is what they do. If you want to comment in my videos, you gotta be a subscriber. You have to subscribe. Then you can comment. You're commenting in the video right now, Wyatt. What do you think? Don't you read your comments? I tell you, the intelligence of people. I don't go back really and read my comments. I don't really care about all that shit. I read them here when I'm live because I'm live. But if you think I'm going to go back and read comments of past videos, I usually don't do that. And I heard you the first time when I was live earlier today. You wrote that it's your Third Amendment right. You ain't got no rights on my live stream. You ain't got no right. This is my channel, my policy. If I turn comments off or on, that's my right, not yours. It's illogical what you're saying. That makes no sense. I don't even know if you realize what the Third Amendment to the Constitution is, neither. Let's read here. I'll pull up the Constitution here for your Third Amendment. I'll read it for you, Wyatt, so you know what the Third Amendment of the Constitution is. The Third Amendment to the United States Constitution. The Third Amendment protects citizens from being forced to house soldiers, especially during peacetime. It was created to prevent actions like the British Quartering Acts, and while rarely directly used in court now, it still supports domestic privacy and property rights. So why? What the fuck are you talking about? You get your Third Amendment right to have comments on. What the fuck are you talking about? There, everybody heard what the Third Amendment to the Constitution is that means that if we go into a war or civil war, I ain't got to house none of you. Get off my property before you hurt yourself. Because back in the Civil War days and stuff, soldiers used to go to people's farmhouses and used to violate their women and their children and steal their food. God knows what else they used to do. They used to do it in World War II too. In World War II, the Nazis used to come in, German soldiers, and enter people's homes and think the people had to feed them and give them something to drink and all that stuff. But here in America, nay, get up out of here, boy. See? Because just because you think what you're doing is right, don't mean we all think it's right. We ain't no damn war with Iran. You're not in a war with Iran. It's stupidity. You're in stupidity with Iran. That's about it. Not no war. Americans have never been in a war. The last real effect of a war that happened in America was Pearl Harbor. That's the last effect that anyone's ever had or experienced in America. Other than that, Americans always go out of America to go make war with other people. No one's ever came to America. But it's getting close. I mean, like I said, that's why I wrote the song. People's getting tired of America's ways and their bullying and shit, where eventually these third world nations, they're going to get pissed eventually. I mean, you could just feel it in the air, can't you? When you sit there and you let these millionaire billionaires go and run amok in other lands Americans got to start waking up, put a stop to these motherfuckers for what they're doing. If we don't believe it, we need to say it. We don't want it, we need to tell them. Stop that shit. If they don't listen, remove them from fucking office. Get the fuck out of here, you crazy nut. Run around trying to start trouble in other people's countries. Taking and stealing from them. Enough is enough. Quit that shit. Who the fuck do you think you are? Ain't nobody believe in colonialism. You can call people savage and barbarian and all you want anymore. Ain't people are not believing it no more. We already did all that shit. Now people realize it. I don't know. I don't know what Andy Pandy is about. That's all Big Nose of London's accounts. Ain't you hear the voice cards? Don't you hear all that weirdness going on? Remember last time when he showed up, calling me, devil and all sorts of kinds of stuff when he was posing as Zara B complex when he came as Zara B, fake crying and stuff. It's just crazy. That's insanity. But here, why you ain't got no rights to tell me to turn comments off and on. It's actually a setting that you can do as a content creator. You can make settings where people don't comment. This is the peanut gallery. Not every comment's true. I had to start doing it because we got weird people. You know, when you get weird people on YouTube that find out you got a channel, then all they send their minions to fill up your comment section with a bunch of foul, dirty, filthy, animalistic bullshit. And I don't want that. I want meaningful conversation, meaningful questions, meaningful answers, things that make the brain think, not emotions. I want things that get emotions all roared up. But like I say, here in America, man, they try, they try to say you got freedom, you got liberty. But what it really is you got to go to a point of view that they want you to have. For instance, if I say I don't believe in something, the next thing you know, they'll call you the R word or the anti this or anti that. They start calling you all sorts of kinds of things, trying to make you a robot like them in that manner. I never subscribed to that point of view. I never cared for that point of view. Again, like I said, as for me and my household, we serve the Lord. Anything against the Lord is something I'm not going to partake in. I don't care about it. Even if there was a million fucking people and there was only me, I still ain't going to do what you're doing. But that's the falseness about America. When you come here, you got to dress a certain way, act a certain way, be a certain way, have a certain mind frame, believe in the things that the legislation has told you is A-OK. And if you go against it, you're not one of them. What it boils down to in that manner. It's fucking pathetic. So all the righteous people in the manner are kind of silenced. They're oppressed. The righteous are an oppressed group in America. When I say righteous, I'm talking the real, truly righteous, not the crazy nut jobs of religions, because we got multiple religions and they're all multiple crazy. I'm talking about real righteous people that have common sense, critical thinking. These people are silenced and oppressed and looked down on. I know that's not right. I know it ain't right. It shouldn't be like that. But they brainwashed generations from generations. They brainwashed them all into becoming a certain way and having a certain mind frame to blindly accept rather than the question. It's been like that for too long. That's why people are kind of waking up a little bit. They're getting tired of it. But then again, like I say, none of it even matters because you still live in a diverse world. Your nation is diverse. You got multiple different cultures and multiple different people, and everybody's trying to survive for their own kind. And when you live in a lands that's full of that, you're always going to have bickering and fighting. All nonsense. It's bad enough that within your own kind you can have bickering and fighting. But then to turn around to have to bicker and fight with other kinds, now you've gone insane. Now you're just insane. Because from the beginning, God put everybody in their own place. He dispersed us all into our own tribes and nations and languages. And said, don't oppress one another. But it's the rich. The rich needed to become more rich. I don't know. They can never have enough. They're never satisfied. I don't know where Rupert went. I'm not in England. I'm in America. What do you want to debate him on? I'll debate you. What do you want to debate him on? I'll debate anybody. I ain't afraid to debate no man. I'll put you all down. I don't know these people, Wyatt. I really don't. I don't know nobody on YouTube. I just start a video and people come. I don't know any of these people. I've never gone out with these people. I've never associated outside YouTube with anybody. None of that. I've only talked to people if they've come to join my stage. That's it. Other than that, I have no idea what these people do, who they are, what their lives are like, nor do I ask about it in the manner to want to know because it's none of my business. I'm not a man that gets in other people's business. I mind my own business. But the scripture's my business. God's word is my business. So anybody who claims that their business is the word of God's business, then I come and I debate those people who make false claims that they think that their business is to be some minister to somebody. And let's find out if their ministering ways are true. And I call them out on it and I expose them on it. And they get upset about it. But all in all, that's my business. And business is good. I am that I am. And nobody can stop me. They'll try. One day they'll try. 3 days they'll try. But that's all they get. 3 days. 3 days, that's what they'll get. But I'll be lifted back up again. Spitting fire. Fire in my enemies. All right, I'm gonna get back to. I've been watching this new show. I've been hooked on now. It's a good show. It's called. What's it called? Suburgatory or something like that. Suburgatory. I'm hooked on this little show here. It's a nice little show, but there's a lot of weird shit in it. I'll tell you that right now. There's some weird shit. It's like The Boys. I was watching The Boys. I watched all their episodes and seasons. That was a weird fucking show. And now I've got this other one, and they got some weird shit in it too. And I'm like, why in the world? I mean, the plot, some of the things in it are very good. You know, I like it. It's enjoyable. But then out of the blue, somewhere, it's got two lesbians kissing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on now? Like now you're ruining my show. Why the fuck did you have to throw that in the mix? Or it's got some gay guys on it fighting over a dog or something. What the fuck? Get back to the main plot, the good stuff about it. I don't know why they mingle that shit in. It's just it don't need to be mingled in. It don't do nothing for the program. But like I say, here in America, they got their agenda. So how do you know you lose? You don't know if you lose. It's not about winning or losing though, Wyatt. It's about learning, right? That's what it's really about. It's about learning something. It's not about winning or losing. It's more of debating to me is more you got an idea, concept, I got an idea, concept. Then we go through those ideas and concepts in a logical, reasonable manner, see which one holds water. And when we discover the one that holds the most water, that's more truthful, it's learning. That's why I like debates. Debates are all learning experiences. And if you're not willing to learn and you look at a debate as a winning or losing thing, then you're going to miss out on the education of it. That's why I don't like missing out on the education. Take home your trophy and hang it up on your mantle, fine. But those things don't last. What you learn from the experience, what you learn from in the truth of something, that's what lasts. And those things you can teach your children. Your trophies can break and fall down. And then you got a kid on the way. Can't give your trophy to your child because it's broke, but you can give the experience of truth to them, the new knowledge that you gain from something. You can always hand that down from generation to generation. And that's more valuable than gold and silver or any trophy. That's just my opinion. The truth's not even mine. Peace be with you, Joseph. I'm about to head out, Joseph. Been on here too long. Now I'm tired and I want to lay down and watch my television show. I worked hard today. I've been underneath that sink as a plumber, and I was outside as an electrician. Worked 8 hours today. Didn't even get paid. Didn't even get no money made. But I am getting tired. Like I said, I'm going to lay down now. Tomorrow I got a big day. I got to find out what we're going to be doing in physical therapy. My rib right here is really sore. Like it needs to be stretched. Like I got to stretch out or something. My back's sore. My hips are sore. It's just so sore all over. Ever since that guy really dug into my freaking, I'll tell you what that guy did to my scapula. He digged his hands behind that scapula. He pulled my bone. Took the skin, and the scapula just floats around. He took that sucker, dug inside, and lifted it up. I held it for a while. Man, said he was going to loosen some muscles. Oh, the movie. I saw that movie before. Remember, I told you I made a video. Maybe I didn't upload that video because that it was later on that one guy came. Um, Good movie. I'll always like Scott, the main actor, Scott Bukaki, something, whatever, even if I pronounce his name. I saw that movie before, Joseph. I remember it now. So when those swords were spinning around, they had fallen. I remember seeing that. I saw that back in the '90s when I was growing up younger. I remember being at home watching that show. Um, uh, so I had seen it before, and it all came back to me once I started watching it more and more. It's like, oh, I remember this. Oh yeah, I remember this. But all in all, it was a low budget film because the effects the effects that it had in it were pretty bad. But all in all, the plot and all the other stuff was pretty good, interesting. Um, and at the very end, where he pushed the guy back down to the hellhole after the earth was opened up. Remember, where he's holding on to that girl, and then the ground gave away, and then the magician raised that guy, made him float in the air, and then pushed him. Scott pushed him down the hole. At the very end, though, because I didn't remember, but I thought from seeing it once he was burning in hell, right? I thought that the spirit was going to come up and enter into that magician, and then it was just going to be like part two, like a sequel coming. But when you watch it, his flesh eats off of him, he turns into a skeleton and drops on the ground, and then credits, right? I was like, oh, damn, that sucks. I thought something was going to happen, like it was going to be a part two to it or whatever, but it didn't. Yeah, I remember all of it. I watched it for real. I watched it. There's a lot of sex in it though, like a lot of especially when that guy that one guy, because he has to go to Los Angeles, right? Because he's looking for that guy who committed fraud and stole that money. And the next thing you know, he's at a hotel. He got them naked girls with their titties hanging out. I was like, God, Mom, now what the fuck? Why you got to put that shit in the movie now? But it was there. Remember that at the motel where he's eating his hamburger and shit. Um, to follow that guy where he finally found that one dude that was had all them things stabbed up in him. And then that one crazy dude, the crazy dude, like he was all crazed up, he ripped through the fucking door. Remember, he like ripped through the fucking door, and then he threw him out, threw him out the fucking window. Yeah, imagine if you were a kid, yeah, it scared you. Yeah, it was a pretty crazy. It was a pretty crazy movie for a kid to be watching. It's rated R, but not supposed to be watching it without parental advisory. Just, but for me, I was older when I watched it, so it wasn't that scary. And then watching it again now, you know, there was nothing on edge about it. Yeah, I can imagine it being the kid seeing it. Pretty scared, scary, wicked, weird thing going on. Lot of murder and shit going on in it. So yeah, everywhere you turned in the movie, somebody was dying. Then they had a lot of when the guy was in the casket, but he wasn't. Man, right? It was just a porcelain, not porcelain, but something that they had made. Well, that was that one guy. Remember the guy that knew about where he was buried at, and the weird kid from the very beginning. Remember the one that he seemed kind of fruitcakey that was taking care of the possessed man. It's the possessed man's like master, master. You know that guy. He was there, his master or whatever, and later on he's looking for all the people that were part of putting the mask on him, and then going off killing all those people, and then finally he got to that one guy who knew where he buried him, and took him to that place, and they digging him all out of it. And then he finally hit him. The guy jumps down in there, and remember he had made his own weapons or his own key or whatever to pry off the bolts and stuff. He had his own design. Because remember he kidnapped that woman, the husband or the wife of the other magician guy. The one that could do kind of the same thing, make things fly when he had that big car. Remember the car he lifted up in the air, tried to throw it on top of Scott, but that's how he got out of the ground. They didn't even show where they buried him. Remember at the very end, it was just they put the mask and shit on him, and then there's that little girl. Remember the little girl they kidnapped that was in there? Yeah, she became the grown up. That was the lady. But they never showed us where they had buried him to begin with, remember? And then at the end, that guy took him and showed him. And then when Scott jumped down in the hole, there was that guy was there, was all uh, messed up. Mike Van Buren nature. Yeah, that was probably the best part of the movie was that fight scene, Justin. The crazy looked like he was all psyched up. Came out of nowhere too, knocked Scott to the ground, knocked his gun out of him. That was probably the most like moment like that, because he's like walking all in slow. Next thing you know, and he's attacked by some crazy ball headed lunatic man. He just kept running into the door, banging his face into the door, and then finally just clawing the whole freaking door and shit off. They grabbed him, spun him around, threw him at the window, and kicked him out like some Steven Seagal shit. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. It was all right. But I had seen it before. All the memory of it started coming back to me, especially the swords falling and stabbing the guy. Because I remember that. That's the part I remember when I see that. I was like, "Whoa, wait! I've seen this before." So I remember that. Hey, oh, it's the car coming back to me again. Damn, because I seen that. That's been almost 30 years ago. You have to think about it, almost 30 years ago when I seen that. I would have seen it when it was, first made, when it first came out. And that was 1996, somewhere around then. But I didn't see it in no movie theater. It had already been in theater, must have been out on TV because I watched it at home. So I don't know how you saw it at a movie theater in 1996 and you were 18 years old or under 18. Pretty much. Pretty much. And after World War II, when they kidnapped, when the spies, it was spies doing it. They used to send spies in the Nazi Germany and kidnap scientists and brought all the scientists over. I remember when I was a kid, I used to read the spy books about spies that used to do that. And the one time they were skiing, and this is a true story, where they kidnapped, who's that guy? I don't know if it was Oppenheimer or the other main guy, but it was a group of military army guys that were on skis during this time, and they had gotten a couple of the doctor scientists where they brought them back over on skis. I read a book about not a fictional book, but a biography type book about the spies that did all that work. Ah, Goof Troops. I remember that. I remember Goof Troops, but I'm not sure about it. But I remember that title, Goof Troops. I remember the title of it. Oh, lots of movies. I remember watching. I had a date. We went to my friend's house though. It wasn't an out date, but I went with this girl named Bethany. She was a pretty girl. Um, her friend was going out with my friend, and he asked me if to double date, and I didn't know who the girl was, but I said, okay, yeah. I said, well, what are we going to be doing? He's like, oh, we're gonna hang out and we're gonna rent a movie and we'll watch a movie and go back to my house and just watch a movie. So I was like, okay, well, I'll do that. He's with you. Like, okay, I'll do that. And turns out she was not a bad looking girl. She came, we picked her up, all that. I sat in the back seat of the car. We drove over to Blockbuster Video. We rented Powder. It was the name. It's called a movie called Powder. And went back and I got a kiss. I got my first kiss and all that goofy stuff. Uh, I remember her name was Bethany. And after that, um, we had graduation. I believe it was right towards graduation. So I never stayed where I was at. I moved to go live with my brother who was in a different state. So I never, fully committed to having her as a girlfriend, a relationship. It was more like a one date type thing. But I imagine if I would have stayed, I probably would have, you know, hung out with her more, going out with her more. I remember when I came back, I went out with this girl named Angela. Um, and this is when I came back from uh, the military as well. This my next one was Angela. Well, I had another one probably before her, which was just like a one night stand from the grocery store. but my friend, my other friend had a girl, and she had a friend named Angela, and wanted me to double date with them. So we double dated, and we did more than one date with her. We went and we played. I used to play tennis as well. I used to play tennis. I was good at tennis, and Angie, I called her Angie at that time. But Angie liked tennis too, and we used to go to the tennis courts late at night, play a little tennis, get a little kissy kissy, drink a little bit of beer, and then when we moved in, not me and her, but me and my friend moved in and got an apartment together. He had gotten a girl pregnant prior before, so his kid's 2 years old now. His mom told him that he had to give up the apartment and come back to take care of his kid because she was tired of taking care of it for him because he was always out. So I remember he left, moved out, and I was living in the two-bedroom apartment by myself. Tried to let my sister move in with me, but we got into it. She was just too collegey. Didn't want to have a good time and fun. And so then my dad came. I remember my dad after I was like, "You got to go, man. You got to go back. You got to go back home." So my dad came, picked her up. He understood. There was no hard feelings between us. It was just that she was there. She's there at college studying, and I'm not there studying. I'm not doing none of that. I'm working, and then when I'm done off work, I'm having friends and stuff over. And she was getting mad that people were coming over and staying awake while she was studying. Which we, like I said, it's all understandable. And then my dad came, picked her up, and she stayed back over there with them. And Angie, I remember Angie. After a while, I met some other people, and I wasn't. I guess you could say me and Angie were dating, but not exclusive dating, because she never said we were exclusive to begin with. So I had some other people over, and I started meeting these other girls that were friends with this other girl that they were coming from a different town, and they were really really hot. Like we're talking, California hot, right? And this one girl kept coming over, and I was going out with her, and kissy kissy, lovey lovey stuff. And Angie came in one day and caught that. We got into it. Then she came back over another time when I was home by myself and kind of talking. And I didn't want to be exclusive in a manner, none of that stuff. She got all huffy puffy and mad and squealed out, took her car, and squealed out, and then drove off, and we were done. By then, I had a friend that got me another apartment because I didn't want that apartment. I was working as a delivery. I was pizza delivering. That's what my whole Last Slice of Paradise album is all about. Is this type of shit that I was doing? It's really fun. And she had other secret missions to do for us. This girl was not a secret mission girl. I'll tell you that right now. Um, but I there was this other girl that lived in my apartment complex, which I didn't even know she lived there. I always had the hots for her, even in high school, which her name was Tiffany. But Tiffany was always going out with this older kid, like we're talking like 4 or 5 years older than her. I don't even know how her mom would let her go out because she was only 18 when we graduated. And this dude's like already like 25 years old, but she was dating him back even when she was 17. So that's some weird shit. But I didn't know she lived in the same apartment building until this other guy told me. And then one day I was doing my laundry and she was in there doing laundry. I was like, oh, wow. I was just all nervous. I couldn't even speak to her. I wanted to speak to her and talk to her and stuff, but I was all messed up. It wasn't good for me that day. Because then my friends had vomited, like vomit on my couch. So I took my couch things off my cushions and I put them in the wash machine. And then I put them in the dryer. And you ain't supposed to put them in the dryer, but I didn't know that. They shrunk. They shrunk. So when I was in there and Tiffany was in there and I opened up my dryer and I saw this little bitty couch cushion, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh my God. I thought my whole, like, everything was wrecked. And it was just all weird. All that whole incident with her in there and everything was all weird. And then my other friend, Kelly, this girl, Kelly, I worked with her. She was a waitress where I worked. Uh, when I left that apartment, I had to wait a week because the other apartment was not going to be ready for another week. But the same lady owned all the buildings. Owned them all. She was a rich lady. Eventually, I began working for her. That's in the album as well, where she came to my house and asked me for a job. And I became the pool boy for all of the apartments and the maintenance guy. But um, then she found me that place. It was ready. I wouldn't be ready for a week, so she let me live with her at her house. Kelly did, but Kelly had a boyfriend at the time, and I knew him. I was friends with him. I was friends with Kelly. And then one day when I was at Kelly's house, and thank God my apartment was going to be ready the next day, because that night Kelly tried to put moves on me, and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, no, no!" And that was some crazy shit too. So I we were still friends later, even after that, but it became a whole weird incident. You know what I mean? Like every time she come over, it was all weird because I knew what she had been doing and what she tried. I never told nobody. She knows it, but then I got that place and I was doing good, man. Like it was a blast, as the songs reflect, and I was making good money. Had a blast every night watching different movies. Movie place was right next to us, and I could rent anything I wanted. Um, then Kelly found me a cat. It was outside, right? So we're coming leaving the pizza place, and there's this little kitten abandoned. It was cold because it was in November, and it was cold, and it was outside. And Kelly's like, "Oh, Chris, you need a cat. You need a pet." And I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't need no damn pet." I grew up with cats, right? And I knew all about it. But she just kept out and she picked it up and then just basically handing it to me. I'm like, oh man, oh now I got a little kitty cat, oh it's a little kitten, and took it home with me. I'm glad I did. It was a good thing. Um, nice little companion. I named that one Tigger as well. I got Tigger now, but that cat, my first cat, was always named Tigger. That's why I named this cat Tigger, because the cat that I got now looked just like my little Tigger cat that I had back then. And I got it the same manner, like some girl giving me a cat. And the Tigger I got now was this old lady whose daughter couldn't handle whatever and ended up getting in trouble and said, "Do you want a kit?" And I got Tigger as a kit, so I took him in, and just a repeat. Basically, life's just repetitious constantly. But I'm glad I took Tigger in back then, and then you know I met this one girl. That's where I met that one girl. And that was trouble, but I didn't realize it because, mind you, I'm not doing drugs. I didn't do drugs. I never really was around drugs. Marijuana occasionally was around, with people in my group. Had occasionally smoked it. I might have partaked in it, smoked it. But drugs weren't a big thing in my life, period. Not even alcohol was. But when alcohol was around, I drank it. I got drunk with them. I had fun. But I never really bought any of it, to be honest. It's always was just brought to my home. I never bought it. So the parties would happen, and Then that's when I met this girl who was, I guess she knew drugs, right? I didn't know that, but she knew all that. My life went down the tube with that, but now it's better now. They can't be all mic'd up. They don't work for you. That's insanity. Say that. That's insanity. Because I'm an open book. There's no need to spy on me when you can just turn on YouTube and there's my life. Or I walk outside and go to the damn store. There's my life. My life is not a mystery. Um, but yeah, oh, what's her name? Really messed me up. But at least it got me a good. Well, that then we got then the place closed down. Everybody got fired because of these one people, and that's when I experienced some craziness and God. I experienced God, um, and then that's when I had a lot of visions, and I wrote that song. I'm wide awake. Does that really happen? Wasn't sleeping. I was wide awake when all this shit's going on. Can't move my body. All that type of stuff happened. I met a whole bunch of different people, spoke to me. I saw visions of things that were going to come to pass. They hadn't happened yet, but as I was progressing my life, all this stuff started happening. I could see it all. That's a weird thing. But the weirdest one was where I saw me getting a job with this other lady that owned all the apartment complexes. And that was cool. I got the job and I was happy then because now I could eat, and pay my bills, and live again in a manner. But I never went back to partying or any of that. All the people that I thought were my friends when I was down and out seemed to abandon. Like they never came around. One friend I had, well, I had two of them. Who's a detective now. He'd every once in a while come by and check on me and see how I was doing, and so did another one. Um, but that's when I realized of all the people, I only had two friends that actually gave a damn, that even brought me food over sometimes and fed me, helped me out. Um, but he was kind of, they were all, both of them, even though they were good, yes, but they used to use me. How can I say how it was is I was a handsome person, but I really didn't know it, and they used to use me to come along with them when they'd go to a club or a bar or something because girls would approach us and talk to us and stuff, and I wasn't very social. Didn't have social skills back then like I do now, but back then, because the way I was raised, I wasn't a very social type person in that manner. But just the image, me sitting there, brought people over, and then my friend would start talking and all that stuff. But I was just there as a wingman in the manner. But later on, I had my fair share, different things. I started to mature more and understand more about social skills and all that developed. Like I said, I was early. When I was joining the Marine Corps, I was straight out of high school. I really didn't have no plans, no nothing. My family, they were all interested in what everyone else was doing, going to college, this, that. But when it was my turn to graduate, like nobody mentioned it. Nobody said nothing to about anything. What are your hopes and dreams? What are your plans? What do you plan to do? None of that was ever discussed with me. I remember they used to discuss it at the dinner table with all my other brothers and sisters. But when it was my turn, it's like nobody was around. Everybody was gone. We weren't even having dinner at the dinner table no more. It's just very weird. Things changed. So I just made a bold decision one day and said, well, dang, I'm just going to join the Marine Corps. And nothing else to do. But that's kind of my life, a little bit of it. Like I said, it could be a funny little book. I'll tell you, if I wrote a book about my life, it would be a comedy, big time. We had some crazy things happen. I had some crazy experiences. I had some things that were like unfathomable, like how unexplained. Let's say it like that. I had unexplained things that, for the life of me, I cannot explain. Like one time, I was delivering pizza, and I went to my friends. They had a party at this house. So I go over there. They order pizza. I'm on the clock, right? So I go over there to drop the pizza off over there to them. And while I'm in the house, dropping it off, all this stuff, all of a sudden, I guess some neighbors or something, they called on them. There was just a big swarm of police up in there. I was caught up in the middle of it. I wasn't part of it. I just caught up in the middle of it. I was a delivery guy. But then all of a sudden, this is the weirdest thing. It's like all of a sudden I became invisible. Now I know that's not true. I wasn't invisible, but it was like I became invisible. So I'm walking. As I'm walking around. I'm walking right by the police. Nobody stops me. Nobody's doing nothing. I'm just walking. And they got everybody else lined up, and I'm like, dang, to my mind, I'm like, dang, I'm not part of this. I got to get back to work, man. I got to go to work. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm just going to go and walk right on the house, get in the car, and drive back to work. That's exactly what happened. It's like I was so invisible. I just walked right by everybody. Nobody saw me. Got in my car, drove back to work, and handed the money, for the pizza and stuff. And I was like, that was some fucking weird shit. I remember that happened. A lot of different weird shit like that was happening. I could not explain it. And it was like time was gone. Like during the whole experience of me, like, because I remember it so vividly, but it's like when I was leaving, everybody was like slow mo, literally like slow mo, like they see in the movie and stuff. That's what it seemed like. And I'm even looking at people when I walk by, and they don't even look at me. I'm looking right at them, like just walking right out. Nobody stops me. Nobody questions. Nobody does nothing. So weird. That was like what I'm talking about. I had some unexplained phenomenons that happened, and this was all prior to later that experience that I had. It was all prior to that. The deal was one slice of pizza and Tigger with lettuce in the house. Tigger wouldn't even be in the house. Tigger, that motherfucker was always running fucking loose in the damn. Every time, whenever I open up the door, Tigger run outside. Tigger was the indoor cat at night, but in the day, he did not want to stay in the house. So you're lying to me, Wyatt. Tigger would run. I'd let Tigger run. I never controlled Tigger in that manner, but I always knew where to find Tigger. So when it was time for me to go get Tigger in the house, I knew where he would be at because we had this walkway, big high on the second floor, and there was this long balcony connecting all the apartments. And at the very end of the apartment complex, there's this little like cubby hole like thing that you could walk on the back end of it, and then there was a gate you could look to the back where the swimming pool was at. And Tigger would always be perched right up there on the very end, off in this little corner for himself, and wait for me there because he knew I would be coming to get him. And I'd look. I once we get eye contact. Look, he jumped down and meow, meow. I was like, let's go, come on. And we come in the house. But no, you're lying there. Tigger was an outdoor cat. I love Tigger. Tigger was a goofy cat. Found out Tigger was a female though. I got that. surprised later on when all of a sudden, because that's why I let it run around. I thought it was a male cat and let it run around. Never got it fixed. Never had it declawed. None of that stuff. Just like a little alley cat I found in the street, but I fed it and let it sleep in my house with me. And then one day it came back and started not going out no more. And I come back from work one day and I open up my closet, hang up my jacket. I look down, freaking kittens. Tigger had kittens. I'm like, what in the world? I remember the day that I found her down there like that too. It was crazy. We had a crazy storm, lightning and thunder and rain. And that's what I named all the kittens. I named them Lightning, Thunder, and Rain. She had 3 of them. One of them didn't survive. And I found, I guess she had cast it away, because then over by the front door later on, I found what looked like a mouse. I thought it was a mouse, but it was a kitten that she had, I guess, carried away from the rest of them, put him off away from the live ones. But I had thunder, lightning, and rain, Tigger. There's that. All right, I'm gonna get off of here, guys. Appreciate everybody showing up, coming. Thank you very much. As always, peace be with you guys. Shalom, salam. Enjoy the rest of your day or your evening, whichever one you are in.